This is no longer the case. Centuries of globalization have left America with an entirely different economic landscape, and this reality seems to have been missed.
I thought you said those are unrelated. Why are you talking about centuries of the global economy, and why are you talking about all these exterior factors, but then telling people that they can't bring up what you constitute as exterior factors from, you know, how America was formed and settled versus now? You said that's unrelated, but you're bringing up generations and decades and centuries of work. How do you just get to pick and choose when we can point at history to make arguments currently and when we can't?
And this reality seems to have been missed or ignored by those who equate these riots to the Revolutionary War.
He just said, you know, all these exterior factors are being missed or ignored, but you just fucking missed and ignored what they had to say to you. They're not ignoring it. Wow. Like, okay, so let me try to explain what the fuck he just did. Like, this is how abusive and like disgusting this guy is. Like, anybody who actually has to put up with him in real life, I feel sorry for them. But this is what he just like gaslit everybody. So you can go back in his video and see where he's saying, like, you can't talk about the past. That stuff's unrelated because that was, you know, back then and they had their own way of doing things, and this is now. But now he's like, all the people doing these protests right now won't bring up any of the past stuff. Like, it's like it's being ignored or missed. But you just said that they couldn't because you said that they were and it's not relevant. And now you're trying to say that they're not and it is relevant. How can you argue both at once? What the fuck? Like, that's literal gaslighting. What the fuck?
War. Over time, America began to produce less and less. We now import huge quantities of essential items from other nations. We ship integral...
I wonder why the fuck that is. Maybe because the Democrats and the Republicans, the party of the rich, want to make more money.
Supplies across the country in a spider web of operations which allow for individual communities to produce absolutely nothing and still enjoy access to resources year-round. This complexity is beneficial to our modern way of life, but has only ever been increasing. First, it was farms tended to by your neighbors.
It's not beneficial to our modern life. There are benefits with that system, but the fact that you're saying it's overall beneficial for us to have everything shipped in, you're a dumbass who doesn't understand economics at all or history. Like, Jesus Christ, like, go look up the golden age of the economy, motherfucker.
Then it was larger farms.
And go look up Occupy Wall Street, motherfucker. If you look those two things up and you can't see how stupid you sound, you can't be helped.
Mile away, then giant stretching fields with trucks that ship to other states, and finally, what we have now is centralized farms that produce a lion's share of all the corn, wheat, fruits, vegetables, and other food, then ship it across the nation, or even import the rest from neighboring countries, to be dispersed by private shipping companies or trucking routes.
Private shipping. Why are they private though? Like, can you explain some of that? Like, can you explain some economics, please? Because, like, if you actually explained it, you will see how this is a corrupt system. You're just explaining why the system needs to be overthrown. Like, seriously, if you actually knew what you were talking about, this shit's toxic. But he's glorifying this too. Like, this is helping us. We get all this stuff shipped in from other places. Like, as if there's no side effects to that. There's nothing bad about it. It's just helpful. I got money. I got my shit. I'm not suffering. So, you know, it's good.
Down to a community level eventually, where we enjoy uninterrupted access to whatever we want.
We enjoy uninterrupted access. All of us do. Every single one of us with this new system in place. Yes. On the backs of sweatshop workers and slaves in other countries. Yes, we enjoy this. People shitting in diapers and getting diseases, cutting off their hands so that we can have a new phone. Yes. I got a new phone. I know there's a bunch of poor Americans who don't have a new phone, but I got one. I enjoy it. I got some good grocery ingredients. I don't know anything about the statistic that it costs about $15 more on average every week to lead a healthy lifestyle versus an unhealthy lifestyle. I don't know anything about that. So, you know, I'm not struggling. So I don't understand the fact that some people can't afford a healthy lifestyle. They can't enjoy these benefits that I keep talking about of shit being shipped in. That there even needs to be a statistic to show you that people are struggling to lead healthy lifestyles. What? That you can't talk about that because that's off topic. Yeah, it's not a good system. People are fucking poor. So the system that you're talking about does not benefit everyone because they can't afford it. And we'd be able to afford it more if more things were in America, because then there would be more jobs, people would make more money, everything wouldn't be shipped out. Like, what the hell?
This is just one item, food. Make no mention.
Yes, it's just one item. There's so many other things that have been shipped out that are ruining us. Like with factory jobs, that was a big one. Like, the fuck?
Of fresh water and the reliance on government to whatever we want. This is just one item, food. Make no mention of fresh water and the reliance on government-maintained.
Where do we get fresh water from, though? Because if you knew anything, you know we don't get it from the ocean. Are you still going to keep talking about how all this stuff is beneficial? There's no pollution. It's not like we only have pretty much one resource left to get our water from that isn't fucking sullied. No, it's all beneficial. I'm going to skip over all the logistics, he said that at the beginning, and not talk about the side effects that you don't see. Like, again, he talks about the paint on the wall and how there's little differences you don't see, but everything he's talking about has so many things in it. You could have a whole conversation about every second of this video. And believe it or not, I am summing up things because you could have a whole conversation about the water supply in the world and how, like, we're not taking care of it properly and how we're, with climate change and the fact that we're contributing to all this pollution and dumping toxic waste into the ocean, we can't drink that. And we get a lot of our water from like mountains and stuff. I just find it funny that like he's bringing up all these things that businessmen have ruined and he's saying it's a good thing. And like businessmen control the government. Like the government, it's been statistically proven that the American people don't get what they want like 99% of the time, if not 100%. But rich people have their voices heard in the government about 30 to 40% of the time. And I'm not even going to trust that statistic because who the fuck you think ran that fucking study? Probably somebody who's corrupted. Because if the government isn't listening to the American people or the rich, who the fuck is it listening to? Because politicians make a lot of money. So, do you not count politicians as the rich people getting their voices heard in the government? Just saying. So my whole point is like he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like every single system he's saying works for us, the food supply, our roads, our stores, the water supply, it's all been corrupted by businessmen who control the government, the thing that people are trying to overthrow. So bringing it full circle because you don't know how to structure your fucking video and you just keep spinning off to random ass bullshit and not finishing your fucking arguments. That's why people want to overthrow the government, dumbass.
Mention of fresh water and the reliance on government-maintained pipelines, oil, gas, and other heating resources, which again are largely dependent on a supply chain that has many tightly cooperating segments.
Okay, but you just talked about oil and gas, and those are things that we need to get rid of, but we can't because businessmen have a fucking stranglehold on the government, and so it's killing the fucking planet. Like, it's literally killing the planet. We're all gonna die, and you're still saying, nope, you can't go against your own government. It's not gonna work out for you because we rely on it. Why would you go against the thing that you rely on? Because the thing you rely on is killing you? Like, if you had no choice but to fucking be served poisoned food for dinner, like poison where like if you eat too much of it, you will eventually die for a certain number of nights in a row. And the same person keeps serving it to you. Would you not try to beat the shit out of them and get the fuck out that place? I would. I'd be like, get the fuck out my way. I don't want this. But you depend on that food to survive. But it's killing me.
When you consider all of this, it becomes clear that contrary to the events hundreds of years ago when America...
I love how he's showing people working in like, the storage area. It's so funny. Like he's showing all these people working in the storage area and I wouldn't be surprised if this was Amazon. And it's like they treat their workers like shit. So I just find it funny. He's like, we depend on these services. Look at these workers who don't really have any rights or benefits. We depend on their servitude. The billionaires in charge of the government, they gotta be loyal servants and just do that work. It doesn't matter if, the truck drivers got a shit in diapers. Look at it. We depend on this service. We depend on their suffering.
America won her independence, these riots today are actually attacking the very structures they rely on, wreaking havoc on systems that they need, but they are too angry and...
So protesters are wreaking havoc on systems that they need. Gaslighting, because you're acting like the systems aren't wreaking havoc on the protesters. They're defending themselves. They're not wreaking havoc. They're retaliating to the havoc that's been wreaked on them. The fuck?
Blinded to consider that.
He said they're too blinded to consider that. And then look at what he shows. I love how the first black person we see are people from the riots that he was saying are so bad. Let's not show black people being slaves. I can't show that because I'll get demonetized or my video won't be... I had to show white people doing farm work. I couldn't show look, black people just loot and steal. That's all black people do. I was like... What the fuck? The first black person he shows. What the fuck? What the fuck? Seriously? You can show all this violence, but you couldn't show some pictures of slavery, motherfucker? Seriously? Oh, no. Like, you really couldn't. I believe you.
First, a Target was looted, and the logic formed around companies having...
First, the Target was not fucking looted. Like, you're skipping over the whole story. At the fucking beginning, as you talk about it, like, what the fuck? What happened was that people protested peacefully. That was the first thing that happened that you're skipping over. The cops antagonized the protesters and hit them with rubber bullets and sprayed them. So, have you ever had tear gas in your eyes? No? So the protesters went to Target because they can't fucking see, and they wanted milk. They were denied milk because Target, that specific Target, lives like right across the street from a police station, and that Target has a long history with the cops where they're like up the cops' ass. You can look into it. That's a thing that happened. And so the people at that Target were saying, nope, we stand with the police. We're not going to serve you, which is against the law, denying service to those paying customers. And so since they said they weren't going to give it to them, and they've been sprayed with tear gas, which you've never had to fucking go through, asshole, they said, all right, well, fuck it. You going to break the law? We're going to break the law. You're not going to give us the fucking milk? When we're going to fucking pay for it, we're going to loot. And so when they started looting, there's other people, this is some white skin right here. But this person is getting sheets and comforters and shit. And these people have bright skin. But let me get the image of the black person stealing. Let me do that. And that's me being objective. I'm not trying to paint an image at all. No, I'm not racist. No.
At first, a Target was looted, and the logic formed around companies having insurance, and they're insanely wealthy, they're billionaire corporations, so it's accepted. It doesn't matter.
No, that's not what people are saying. They said, you're going to deny service from us, so we're going to steal milk from you. That's what it is. You broke the law. You didn't serve us when you were supposed to by law. Stores were open by law in the middle of the fucking day because of the pandemic. And you closed it just to not give people milk who were going to pay for it. So then they stole from you. And guess what, bitch? The same Target that you're trying to defend said that they stand with the protesters. So why the fuck are you against what they did when Target's okay with it? Target said, we sympathize with them. We understand. So what the fuck? Target's okay with it. So here you are saying, they got insurance and money and stuff. That's why it's okay. No, it's also okay because Target said it was okay. You didn't want to look into that either because it makes you sound retarded.
Then, when even more retail stores were destroyed, it shifted into a justification.
More retail stores? You mean Dollar fucking Tree? We need Dollar Tree because there's no alternate shops left. Like, we need these big chain stores. It's helping us. For you to go to Dollar Tree and get, some plates, you can get detergent, you can get everything that you need. There's nothing wrong with that. Everything you need in one store. Let's just focus on the benefit and the now, not how we got to a point where there's all these big stores that have everything you need for quote unquote low prices and their employees get paid shit and they have no fucking benefits. There's nothing wrong with that because I don't work at Dollar Tree. I don't have to go through that. I can afford a $400 emergency bill. So I'm okay. So let's not talk about how these different big chain stores are making Americans suffer. It's working for all of us because it's working for me.
That necessary supplies and other consumables could
necessary supplies at Dollar Tree. Necessary supplies at Dollar Tree. Remember, he just said that.
Be shipped in to people because who even shops at retail stores anymore? Then they
everyone shops at retail stores because there's no other option, stupid.
Destroyed the post office and started attacking Amazon shipping trucks.
Ooh, this dude. Oh, he deserves to be protested peacefully. I'm not saying he deserves to be. I'm not saying someone says house on fire. That wasn't the point I was making. He needs to be protested by Amazon workers just for that statement. So let me tell you something about Amazon, since he's trying to defend Amazon now like a little bitch. Amazon replaced their air conditioners. Like they took them out and replaced it with, guess what? A fucking ambulance truck outside. Why? Because it was cheaper for people to pass out of heat exhaust and have to go to the hospital than for them to have fucking air conditioners in the building. That was something Amazon did. Another thing that Amazon's done is that when people have to ship things out, like when people have to drive the trucks and stuff, they purposefully give them too many places to go to so that they can't take breaks because they tell you have to follow the route, but the amount of shipments they give you are too many for you to do on the route at the normal speed. So it's like if you logically, by following the law, can only deliver, let's say, 50 boxes a day with your truck, right? They're going to give you 60 boxes and tell you if you don't do it, you're going to get fired. So some of these people have to wear diapers. Some of them have to piss in bottles. You know, they can't eat. And they'll be driving for like 12 hours, which isn't safe. Some of these people are sleeping on the road, which is an endangerment to other drivers. And he's saying, no, we need that service. Like, we needed that did that to people. We need a place that'll get rid of their air conditioners and have you pass out of heat exhaust. Why? Because I don't have to work at Amazon. I'm not passing out of heat exhaust. I'm just buying shit from Amazon and supporting this fucked up system. I need it, so everyone needs it.
The framework at almost every single level has been attacked.
Poor Amazon. Poor billionaire Amazon. Like, poor billions and billions and, like, it's not even millions, billions. Seriously? You're saying it's wrong for people to have an issue with something like that? That's just the definition of illegal practices to make that much money in such a short amount of time? Are you kidding me?
And destroyed because the literal foundation of life in this country is now perceived as the enemy. If the police...
The literal foundation of life is perceived as the enemy. Amazon and Dollar Tree and Target is perceived as the literal foundation of life in the country. It is the enemy, but it's not our life.
Or the enemy, the government is. If the government of life in this country...
Oh, listen to this one. Oh, we about to listen to him say some retarded ass shit right now.
Almost every single level has been attacked and destroyed because the literal foundation of life in this country is now perceived as the enemy. If the police are the enemy, the government is. If the government is, the system is. If the system is, the corporations are. And if the corporations are, the infrastructure is. And the logic descends from something where change is possible to total self-destruction.
That is the dumbest thing in the whole video. That is the dumbest thing he could have said in his whole fucking video. He said it was straight face. He acting like he's some sort of intellectual. That is the funniest thing. And I love how he just shows a white man fucking walking right afterwards with like some destruction. Poor white man. Look at the white man. Oh my God, this fucking guy. Okay, so first of all, it doesn't go from that line of logic into total destruction. So let's go back to break down why you're so stupid.
If the government is, the system is. If the system is, the corporations are. And if the corporations are, the infrastructure is.
So I love how so far he had a train of thought. He's showing that he's capable of having a logical and consistent train of thought. He's capable of it. All he had to do to continue to be an objective and intelligent individual was say, maybe that's why people are rioting. Because I just explained how the entire foundation is corrupt. But he's so fucking retarded that he explains how the entire system is flawed. And he's like, it couldn't be that. That's too negative. Everything's wrong. Everything can't be wrong. The very foundation couldn't be wrong. Like, I get the explanation of how we got from this to this to this to this to this. But the whole system can't be the problem, even though I just explained how it is. No.
And the logic descends from something where change is possible to total self-destruction.
No, change is possible. Like, what do you mean? The whole foundation is wrong. But changing that entire foundation is possible. But when you try to change it, and like, the only way you're going to change the foundation of something is to completely change the whole thing. If you change the foundation, you're changing everything about it. So you just said that changing the foundation is possible, but you just told us earlier that to get rid of the very foundation of something is destructive. So how can you say that it is possible to change these things, and now you're saying it's not, and it is at the same time? There's no way to change the foundation of something without fucking getting rid of it, dude. You can't change the fucking roots of something. If you change the roots of a plant, you're changing the fucking plant, motherfucker.
A metaphor I keep coming back to is water in a home, but the pipes contain lead. At first,
God.
you might not even...
Oh, I already know what he's going to say. Lead in the water pipes. He's really going to do this. Oh no. Oh no, please help us.
Destruction. A metaphor I keep coming back to is water in a home, but the pipes contain lead. At first, you might not even realize. The effects can be very, very slow. But then, over time, more and more, you begin to see and feel the changes. Your health deteriorates, the sickness increases, and finally, some sort of event sparks off a moment of crisis, and it's time to act. So what do? There are many different options here. You could begin to replace one segment of pipe per day with the help of those that understand the process, learning for yourself, and eventually becoming very well versed in solving the problem. It would be slow, but progress would be made towards better and more consistent health. Or you could lay out pipes in an organized way and then replace them all at once. It would be a much more difficult task, to be sure, but it would also decrease the time necessary. Or you can hype yourself up into a rage and begin ripping pipes out of the floor and
Oh my god. And look, he shows a black guy. That is an afro. That is a fucking afro. They have their fist in the air. I'm telling you, in my opinion, this guy is fucking racist. Oh my god, he's like, you got your fist in the air, think you're doing something, motherfucker. You ain't doing shit. The only pictures of black people he showed are these. Like, oh my god. Anyway, first of all, motherfucker, your entire analogy is not only illogical, retarded, it's just objectively wrong. You put it in a false framing, for one, because that's not the situation that we're dealing with right now. And so I'm not only going to reframe your retarded ass argument, I'm also going to use something that actually fucking exists to make it even more relatable. Something that directly connects to why we have these protests right now. Let's say that you live in Flint, Michigan, and you have poison water because of all the fracking, and it's toxic waste in your fucking water. It's killing all of you, giving you brain damage. You could learn how to replace the pipes. You could bring somebody else in to do it. You could replace them one by one. You could replace them overnight. The water's still fucking poisoned. Why? Because when you rip away the walls and the floors and the pipes and dig into the ground, you realize, oh shit, the ground, the soil, the very foundation that my house is built on is fucking poisoned because of fracking wells. So the only solution left is to rip up the fucking earth and replace it because it's been poisoned. And no matter how many fucking pipes you lay down, you're still gonna get brain damage if you stay there. That's a proper analogy, and that's actually real. But you don't live in Flint, Michigan. You don't live in any of the states that have to suffer from fracking wells. You're not someone from a Native American reservation who had to protest so that they didn't have those toxic fucking pipes in their land. You didn't get dogs sicked on you. You didn't have people trying to you didn't have dogs trying to bite your arms off and maced in the face just because you didn't want a new fracking well in your reservation. You didn't have to deal with that. So we need these systems because you didn't have to go through it. Your children don't have brain damage while the president of the fucking United States goes to Flint, Michigan, drinks the water and says it's perfectly fine. You didn't have to go through that. So of course you don't fucking understand why people are angry because you're not suffering like that. And not only are you not suffering like that because I'm not from Flint, Michigan either, but I'm also not retarded and I have enough common sense to look at a situation like that and understand that there's a lot of fucked up shit going on that needs to change. That's the difference between you and me. You're so stupid and closed-minded that you would rather enable your dark impulses, enable your own fucking selfishness and justify it with every sense of your ever being than just look at this situation objectively and learn something for once. And post fucking pictures of black people looting. Focus pictures. Leave the white people on the side. Focus the pictures on the white people when they're doing farm work. Paintings, for God's sake. Couldn't even get a fucking photo. Had to get paintings of white people doing some fucking farm work. Stupid.
The wall with random ferocity, destroying your own home and other appliances because you were just angry
I'd destroy my own fucking home if it was giving me brain damage, bitch.
and tired and don't want the water to have lead anymore. Fundamentally, yes, you solved the problem and will no longer be drinking water with lead in it. But the reality that sets in when the dust fades is that you will no longer be drinking water, period.
And guess what? If we actually went with your stupid plan, you'd be drinking water and get brain damage. So I love how he just says, that's it. I love how, you see what he has to say about black people? He's not saying it's about black people, but he's showing a black person while saying this shit. And he keeps showing a negative way, so I'm going to say he's saying it about black people. I love how he's saying, hey, black people, you know, you're going to rip up the fucking land of your house and just destroy your own fucking house and sit there. Yeah, you won't be drinking water, but you don't have a home anymore, you idiot. You were so mad you destroyed your whole home and didn't even realize you were doing it. Bitch, if I'm gonna knock down my whole fucking house, I'm pretty sure I would have thought it through first. Why is it so hard for someone like you to understand that they're well aware that they're destroying their own community, but they're doing it for a reason? It's because the very foundation of that community is not working for them. It's not helping them. They've been politely saying it for decades and nobody fucking listened. So now they're angry. If you knew anything about history, you would know that people riot when they already were having a fucking conversation, when they already made suggestions and their voices weren't heard. The people who are in charge of this fucking country don't want people to have a nice life. They want to push everyone down that they fucking can so that they can have more money, more wealth, and more opportunities for themselves. And if you don't understand that, that's not my fucking problem. But that's the reality of the situation.
The rebuilding can be done, but that process is now a trial of survival because all reason was sacrificed and blind rage destroyed the structure
you couldn't possibly tear down the soil and the foundation of these poisoned areas and go live somewhere else while the government takes care of it. No, you couldn't make the statement, stop poisoning our fucking soil. If you tear down your house, that was just an illogical spur of the moment decision you made because, I mean, you black people are so mad, you'll just fucking set a whole building on fire without thinking about it first.
Rely on. I've been seeing time and time again the most disgusting rhetoric being...
Just look at the pictures. Look at it. Let me get this guy with dreadlocks. Let me get him hopping on a cop car that's on fire. I'm going to find these people. They're not black or anything. I'm just getting random pictures of people protesting. I'm not focusing on black people. I'm not racist. Hey, so I'm just going to cut in real quick and show you something pertaining to what I'm talking about in the video at this moment. But I also want to say that I have some other stuff that I want to show you, but I'm probably not going to record my voice and explain it just because it's going to make the editing take so much longer and I've finished everything at this point. So you're just going to see like random inserts where there's no talking but text on the screen, probably in part 3. Anyway, he's sitting here talking about all this crap while showing all these pictures of black people in a negative light because he's trying to manipulate his audience. And the funny thing is, while I was looking for images for the thumbnails of part 2 and 3, I saw these pictures. And I was typing George Floyd protests and then I typed George Floyd riots because I was trying to find images with the same type of feeling as his original thumbnail. And it was just so funny that I saw all these pictures of white people rioting. And I'm like, what the hell are they rioting over? Like, what is this about? And then I read the text below the images. And you wanna know what they're rioting about? Sports. He's sitting here saying all this stuff about black people destroying their own community, but you know, he didn't say that they're black. He just showed a bunch of black people when he said it. And yet all these pictures of white people, they're tearing up their community because of sports. No, that could be any human being of any race, any nationality. They might not even be American. Who the fuck knows? I'm not saying none of that.
thrown around, such as murder all cops and abolish the police.
Yes, because all protesters want you to murder all cops. There's never been protesters explaining that the system, the policing system, is just bad. It's not like there's people who have left the fucking police force, white men, who fucking explain that the policing system is racist and it's bad. No, it's just a bunch of angry black people who just want to they want to murder all cops. I'm going to speak for all these protesters just because a few say things like murder all cops. Every black protester wants to murder all cops. I sound very objective when I say this. Please enjoy my lecture.
Go after the rich, destroy the corporations.
Yeah, go after the rich and destroy corporations, definitely. Like, how do you not see that they're destroying the world? They're doing genocide in other countries for oil. Like, are you serious right now? Poor big businesses doing those genocides in other countries. They got kids to feed. They can't feed them off of their billion-dollar salary.
Corporations don't mean anything compared to human life. Burn them down. Destroy the corporations. Corporations don't mean anything compared to human life.
Corporations don't mean anything compared to human life. Yeah, they don't. Do you seriously think a corporation, not, you know, a system in place? You don't need a corporation to feed people. You don't need a corporation to give people a living. You don't need it. We didn't have that at one point, and we were surviving just fucking fine. Ask the Native Americans. Oops, can't, because they're all dead or on some fucking reservation that you can't fucking get to. They didn't fucking need a corporation. So yes, their value is nothing in comparison to human lives. It's not. You dumbass asshole.
Burn them down. And around it goes. The thing is, all of these systems are necessary. You may not like it. We may have failed as a nation to get to this point at all, but these systems do not become any less.
These are necessary, they're necessary. That's all he's been saying for 12 minutes and a half. Don't you see these systems are necessary? I've repeated this in my structured video. It's so structured. I just keep saying the same point without finishing it. I've said it 1,000 times. How do you not see we need these systems? You guys just keep acting in blind rage. I'm just going to keep calling it blind rage. You didn't think it through. You didn't think through the fact that the very foundation is corrupted, so we need to change it. You just want to fuck shit up. Like, what the hell?
It's necessary because you hate them. In 2013,
He's the type of person who would post hashtag Blue Lives Matter.
I was in college during the Boston bombings. I remember a campus-wide lockdown and an atmosphere of sheer terror, watching the news for every single update, and finally, any less necessary because you hate them. In 2013, I was in college during the Boston bombings. I remember a campus-wide lockdown and an atmosphere of sheer terror, watching the news for every single update, and finally, days later, seeing that the culprits had been captured. A few hours after the announcement, I traveled to the Commons with my roommate. We carried American flags with us and joined a small crowd gathering at the gazebo to celebrate. Over the next few
He's the type of person who will post Blue Lives Matter. I'm not even kidding. I would not put it past him to do that. Oh my God.
hours, it became a crowd of thousands. The police were there, some of them after 72 continuous hours of sleepless pursuit. There were cheers and chants because the terrorists had been captured and the danger had passed.
Aw, poor white men. We were so sad and scared that a group of people, two people came in and terrorized our community. Like, can you imagine that? People coming in, terrorizing your community and just hoping someone will come and help you? The cops helped us. That's such a weird thing. Like, I have to explain this to black people.
They're using military, they got like military stuff, and then they just start beating people. Now watch this. Wow! What the fuck is going on in this country? And I watch these maniacs. This guy, he wants a piece of the action. This guy, he's going to get a little bit. I'm going to get one of those. They're not doing anything. Watch this on the street. Just throwing people. These are citizens. Now, this is a private home. The homeowner wanted the people there, and they're all faceless, and they're all wearing their combat garb, like they're fucking in combat, instead of what they're really doing, which is beating peaceful protesters. Cowards. And there's 2,000 of them, and there's a couple hundred of the protesters.
Yeah, black people don't know anything about people coming into their communities and terrorizing them. Nah, that's a really foreign concept to them. They've never experienced it once ever in history, you know? I don't even know why they're so mad right now that people want to, protest police brutality. Like, that's not even a thing. They help when there's terror. They're not the terror. It's not like a police officer groped a woman of color or anything, and when she moved out the way, he said hit her, and a bunch of cops started beating her and shooting her with rubber bullets at point blank range. That didn't happen because cops don't terrorize communities. They save communities.